Yo, guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Marijuana Say Weekly, and today we are really excited to be doing a interview with Mike from Kaya Farms, and he's going to be giving us a little bit of information about soluble amino acids. And as always, I have Dean here helping out with some support on this. But to be honest, guys, both of us, we have a confession. Soluble amino acids, we are learning today, right?
Yeah, so it's a product which Mike has suggested. We've had it for a while, and Mike has mentioned it's one of his, one of the products which he thinks is most powerful. But it's something which we are still upskilling on, like Andy said. So I'm going to be learning just as much as you guys. And I think from the information that Mike sent me last week related to it, it kind of changed my whole opinion on the product. I was very, very interested. It's something quite different. And I think it's something that is going to be really beneficial to all the guys out there who are interested in organic farming.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we are in the specialty space, and we do like to make sure we always keep up to date with these things. But sometimes new products come along, things that we're not au fait with yet. But yeah, that's why we do these things, so we can bring you guys the knowledge, and we can also knowledge up at the same time all together. Okay, I'm going to get Mike in. Just hang tight 1 second. Hey Mike, thanks so much for joining us on this episode. We are very much looking forward to learning a little bit about soluble amino acids. We have confessed already to the audience that we are not not very well versed on the topics, and we might be letting you do a lot of the carrying today on giving the knowledge, but that's why you're here, that's why you're the expert. And I'm going to jump right in and just in brief, what are soluble amino acids?
All right. Okay, so let's just start with amino acid. Everybody has heard the term, I imagine, but doesn't necessarily know what they are. So amino acid is basically the molecules that are used to create proteins. And it is the base of life. Every living organism needs amino acids to then...
It's the same with humans, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we need those amino acids. And then again, when we eat food, the protein that we ingest gets broken down, and what is left is amino acid as well. So they are key to life in many, many aspects. Now their purpose in plants or in the garden is, so everybody knows that plants need nitrogen. Nitrogen is one of the most important macronutrients in the plants, and often we will find it in the form of ammonium or nitrate. In cannabis, it takes it up as nitrates. But now the issue with nitrates is that they can be dangerous. They can burn the plants. They can stimulate, stem elongation. So they're not always ideal. And this is where a lot of people say you don't want to give nitrogen to plant and flower, which is not really accurate, but it is to avoid those kind of things. So amino acid is nitrogen, but it isn't in the form of nitrate or ammonium. It's in the form of amino acids. So the interesting thing about that is plants need amino acid. They will create their own amino acids through the nitrogen they take up in the soil, and they use molybdenum to convert that nitrate into amino acid and to proteins, etc., etc. But now research shows that plant will use up to in the upwards of 18% of their photosynthetic energy to convert that nitrogen they took from the soil into amino acids and proteins. But now if you're able to provide this amino acid already in that form, already available to the plant, it can skip that whole process. It doesn't have to spend that much energy converting it. And it can then redirect that energy towards other biological functions.
I think growth. That's a key point, right? That I picked up on when just briefly reading about it, is like that specific aspect that it's the plant's going to make it anyway. As you were saying, it's essential for life across plants and humans and animals. The plant's going to make it by absorbing the nitrogen and
in the soil, yeah.
in the soil, or whatever you're feeding it, it's going to turn that into amino acids, probably for growth.
Yes.
So we just bypassing that step of not having, and you were saying how it uses the photosynthetic energy to create the amino acids, and now it doesn't need to use that energy. Is that energy now going to go towards the plant growth, I suppose, as opposed to creating that? It'll go to other other aspects.
It will go to other area the plant would need. Like, for example, if it's under pressure from pests, it will have more energy to spend defending itself. If it's very healthy and it's just busy flowering, it will put more energy towards bigger flower. So it definitely it's a big biohack.
Awesome.
It bypasses a whole plant system or a metabolic function. And another even more interesting thing is that plant, we talk a lot when we're growing in organic how plants have this interaction with microbe, with life, and it's not just the plant taking nutrients, it's the microbe working together with the plant to cycle those nutrients and make them available to the plant. But now, in a case where your plant is deficient in nitrogen, for example, your plant will go and put out energy to put out photosynthate exudates through their roots to attract the microbes that are missing to provide that nitrogen. So they will put all this energy to try and attract the microbe they need to cycle that nitrogen and make it available for them. And again, they can use up to 15% of their energy just to create those sugars, those carbohydrates that they're going to release through the roots to attract those microbes. So now, in a condition where your plant is deficient in nitrogen and doesn't have access to amino acid, it can be using 33% of its energy to supply to get sufficient nitrogen, which is crazy. Now,
this is a third of efficiency is a lot of efficiency lost.
It's a lot of efficiency. Yes. Obviously, this is considering the plant is deficient in nitrogen, which is probably one of the nutrients that will affect your yield the greatest. I mean, nitrogen deficiency stops the plant straight.
Do you want to give us a quick rundown, just like how it's made?
Yes.
Is it still going to be? Because it's like we're talking like amino acids now. Is this still going to be organic? Is this still coming from an organic source?
Yes.
And just where's this coming from?
Yeah, so there's many sources of amino acid. Those ones are derived from soybeans, so non-GMO soybeans, and they're obtained through enzymatic hydrolysis, and this is a natural process where they use enzymes, natural enzymes that will break down the proteins that are found in the soybean into their, like we were talking earlier, into their amino acid state, and then stabilize it, dry it, and have it in a soluble powder form.
Awesome. So anyone growing, if you're growing with, so if you're supplementing amino acids, you can still, you're still growing on the organic.
Completely.
Natural, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's really
that's
nice.
That's the beautiful thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And you can also obtain them from there's other sources like fish amino acid. Some of you might have heard from KNF.
Yes.
That's also something you can actually do at home. The only difference is obviously you have a wider range of nutrients in there, whereas the soybean amino acid, it's really just nitrogen. There's nothing else.
Yes.
But there is many sources. Yeah, even doing ferments, etc. You're releasing a lot of amino acids already.
Okay, sizing wise, I mean, it comes in a little bag like that, 250 grams, 500 grams, 2 kilos. There will be links below to our Take a Lot listing, and you guys can also ask any questions below. But Dean, I mean, maybe you want to go through, Mike, about some of the applications and different, how's it gonna be used? Yeah,
Yeah, and some pros and cons as well. What's I mean, it's just nitrogen. So I mean, it's I saw on the NPK it's 0 on phosphorus and potassium. So what are, and also sort of applications wise, it's a very powerful product, isn't it?
Yes, so it is. It is. So in terms of application, it works great both as a foliar application or as a soil drench. Now, one thing to remember when using it as a soil drench is that you won't burn your plant by over applying it, because it's not a nitrate, it's just amino acid. But whatever isn't taken up by the plant will get cycled by the soil and broken down back into nitrates. So if you were to over apply it, you will still have an accumulation of nitrates over the long term. But this is also what's really interesting about the amino acid, is that they have the research shows that plant will uptake less of the amino acid if there is a high level of nitrogen or nitrate in the soil. Versus if you keep your nitrate low but you supplement with amino acid, the plant will uptake them more. And that makes sense. And it makes sense, and it's great because it allows you to spoon feed and stop the nitrogen whenever you desire, which is a great thing in cannabis. But it also leaves the option of overdosing your soil with nitrate in the long run if you over apply it.
Well, if you're using pre-balanced nutrients, you're gonna struggle to be able to just cut the nitrogen from pre-mixed sort of nutrient levels. So it's gonna be slightly it's gonna be quite a tricky one to if you're using with conventional feeds that already have nitrogen in it,
so again, the idea of a lot of our product is to because I mean those amino acids are contained in a lot of those bottled nutrient products. So it is just a way of dissociating those products and giving you all the tools if you want to. But then again, some premix nutrient can be more interesting to whomever. But it is true that it is a bit of a choice. It's still a great addition and additive, but
I'm just saying it could create some confusion between I think that it adds that confusion with being able to overdose on the nitrogen if you're already using conventional feeds. But if you're going sort of a full organic plant-based plant feed, organic feeding and worm teas and castings and things like that, this is a perfect product in that case.
Yes, and you'd also use the dosage accordingly. You would use like a supplement dosage, not a full-on feeding or deficiency dosage, which on the package shows different dosage. But talking about cons, another potential con with the amino acid is obviously it's the base of life, and every living thing needs and can use amino acid, which mean that if you have a problem in your soil, a pathogen, for example, it will also give him a bit of a head start because he will be able to use this amino acid as well.
That's quite interesting.
It can also feed your bad guys.
Yes.
Like any nutrients in essence, but something to keep in mind.
And just with relation to the nitrates in the soil, how would you sort of keep track if you are overdosing, or is it impossible without testing to keep track to know if you are putting too much nitrate into the soil from the amino acids breaking down if you have an excess?
So obviously you'll know first of all because you haven't followed the dosage on the label. If you follow the dosage on the label, you shouldn't have an issue. But if you did go crazy and now you have a doubt, you should be able to see a response in the plants. Potential clawing of the leaves, very dark leaves. The common signs of a nitrogen excess, pretty much.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. But I have tried to heavily dose plants, and I've gone above my dosage, and I haven't yet seen any negative effect, or at least nothing compared to the overdosing effect you would see through other nitrogen amendments.
Yes.
Yeah, with straight nitrogen.
Yes.
And
the response is
there any
amazing.
time that like would you wean your plant off like close to flower or anything like that, or is it good to sort of feed up into the last mile?
So I do. It really is difficult because it depends on your style of growing and your information, knowledge, etc. But for someone that doesn't know anything, I would say, start lowering or stop feeding, the amino acids 2-3 weeks before harvest. Obviously, it's extremely hard to tell because it depends on if the plant is looking very yellow, then I would say push it. But if the plant is looking incredibly green and almost too green for that state, it's very hard to tell. But in a perfect scenario, I would use it almost till the end, and at very, very small dosage towards the end, just a little supplement, just a little, a little cup of coffee in the morning that just makes you more productive.
Quick available
for the day.
boost.
Yes, that's it.
Awesome.
And again, if you don't overdo it, you won't have any accumulation of nitrate because the plant will uptake everything, make use of everything.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Dean, any last questions?
No, not at all. Very interesting product, and it's what I find interesting about this is the breaking down is done first, so the plant can just sort of uptake it, and I'm sure because of that it receives the nutrients it needs faster as well. So it just seems like a good way to speed up the plant, especially and that's what we all want to do, push more growth always.
Exactly. And another thing that I haven't mentioned is amino acids are chelators, so they will go and grab on to metals like calcium, magnesium, and make it more in time. It's like hiding a pill in a spoon of peanut butter when you try and give medicine to your dog.
Yes.
The plant will look a lot more attractive, and the plant will uptake those elements a lot better. And so it has amazing. The chelating effect is also quite cool.
Oh, brilliant. Well, guys, I think we're just about out of time. Mike, once again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your very in-depth knowledge on these sort of things. Yeah, without experts in the industry and people like you to educate us, I think we would all be at a loss. So from both of us, we very much appreciate it. Cool, thanks. All right. Insane stuff.
Yeah, you
I'm
see,
always
when you don't know,
away.
Yeah, same. When you don't know about a product, it's like you're like, what does it do? How does it fit in? I'm so used to using this product. Why would I need that product? And then you learn about it, and like over the years, especially like since we've been, with the grow shop and doing this, the amount of products that I use in my own personal garden has gone from few to so many, but I'm using so little of it that it's just such a nice sort of broader scope, and I have no experience using soluble amino acids, to be honest, like I said. But after this episode, I'm going to go to the office now and I'm going to pick myself up a bag.
I envisioned myself using it. I saw myself there, and I saw the amino acids, and I saw me sprinkling it on the soil and whatnot. So I think it appeals to me. I still feel I'm getting educated on the product, and hopefully this helps you guys get a little bit more educated on it. And there are people with much more in-depth knowledge on feeding schedules, and probably those guys in big commercial farms that they maybe need something like this, and they know exactly what minerals and
and they're testing their soil, and they're able to do the mathematics exactly to see exactly what they need to put back in. And actually, when Mike sent me information related to this product, both of the videos I watched were guys on commercial farms utilizing this product, and because it's so powerful, for it's such a powerful nitrogen source, and you're getting all that extra plant energy saved on a commercial scale. It works out very, very affordable. Obviously, if you're going in the organic space, once again, it's not a salt-based product. It's fully organic, as Mike said.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow some of the links below, and you can get some more information about the product. And until next week, peace.
Peace, guys.